What's going on YouTube? Welcome to Automotive Life. My name is Lucky and today we have a new project for Workshop Wednesdays. This is a beautiful 1991 Mercedes-Benz 190e. Now you may be asking, why would I go out and buy an older Mercedes? This was actually one of my favorite cars. We're actually going to be doing this build, and it's a very fun build because back in the day I had a 1987 Mercedes-Benz 190e 2.3 16 valve. Now, the reason why this one is so significant, this was the first generation of the quote-unquote Mercedes 190e EVO, which I'm going to show some pictures and maybe a B-roll of a video. This car was just absolutely amazing. Just the looks, the way it competed out on the track, everything else like that. And I had one of these cars a long time ago. It was actually my very first Mercedes. And ever since then, I've missed it. And I've been trying to find one, but the 2.3s have gone, 16 valves have gone extremely high. We're talking clean ones are like 15 to 30 to sometimes I've seen them up to $60,000. So this one right now is a quote unquote sport line. So I don't know if it's the actual model. We're gonna do some more research because some of the models did have the Recaro seats in the front, but didn't have them in the back. This one does not have it in the back, so I have to run the VIN. But if you can kind of look at it, it's not the cleanest. I'll go ahead and flip the camera around and give you guys a little bit of an intro. Now here it is in all of its glory. We got the grille, which the customer is supposed to bring it to us. This bumper is gonna go. We're gonna add the EVO bumper to it. It's already lowered. I don't know if they cut the springs, if they actually put coilovers, but either way, we're gonna redo the coilovers. We'll take a little walk around there and I'll talk about it. We are gonna switch out all the lighting, go to LED, get rid of all the old bulbs and bolts. Overall, I mean, the car is actually in decent shape. It's just been neglected for a little while. You know, not a lot of people know how to work on these cars, and it's hard to get the parts for these things. Let's go ahead and open up the inside. And as you can see, this is the main reason I bought it. This is an actual manual transmission. Inside doesn't look too bad. We're gonna probably go ahead and reupholster these. I'm thinking about actually switching everything to black, but I'm gonna wait to see, because like we talked about before, you don't want to start a project till you actually get it up and running. So this particular one, let me go ahead and put it over here. So this car actually runs and drives. It was this gentleman's daily driver. It just started overheating. We'll go ahead and lift up the motor. Doesn't look too bad. Here's the actual rail for the plug, so we put that over there. Wrong size battery, some bolts and fuses lying everywhere. I mean, it just needs to be tidied up and fixed, but nothing really major so far. It looks overall pretty good. So what we're actually gonna do first is we're gonna pull it in the shop and we're actually gonna go through it mechanically, because like we talked about before, everybody gets super excited. They wanna start buying stuff now. I do wanna buy, like I said, the body kit for this car, but I'm not gonna spend $1 until I get this actually going, because we were considering doing like an LS swap, whatever else, but I'd rather get this thing running, enjoy it, and then when the motor blows, go ahead and do like an LS swap. I've seen people do a 2JZ swap, all kinds of crazy stuff, but I want to get this running and driving good. I want the AC to work because it's March right now in Vegas and it's 100 freaking degrees, or actually 93 degrees today. So we need the AC to work. I got to make sure all the windows function correctly, sunroof works correctly, and all the gauges in there do not work. So we're probably going to send them out to get rebuilt. This car just broke 278,000 miles, which is just broken in. So let's go ahead and pull it in the shop and let's get started on it. Okay, so we got it pulled in the shop. We're going to start checking everything out. So like I said, it's actually overheating. Sorry, I just turned the bright light too light, but if you look right there, you could see that it's actually leaking from the thermostat housing. So I'm thinking that it's probably, they replaced the water pump, which we looked in the back seat and we found that one. That's the old one. So it looks like they attempted to fix that, but they didn't actually do it. So we're gonna have to actually go through, we're gonna take this off, and we actually bought a new one, which is right here. Anytime I get a new car, I tell everybody to do the same thing. Oil filter, air filter, spark plugs, We bought a new thermostat, and the water pump was only $80. Now, this is one of the few cars, I don't know if you guys have seen, not only does it have a mechanical fuel pump, water pump, but actually has an electrical one as well. So we're gonna go ahead and replace both of these just so we can get started. We're gonna flush the radiator, and then we're gonna take it for a drive and see how it goes. But when I pulled it in here, I noticed that there was no power steering. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this open, and it is absolutely empty. So we're gonna go ahead and put some fluid in that first, just to test it to see if it's gonna go through. But this is usually where we start to go through everything. Like I said, make sure it's mechanically sound. If you don't plan on replacing the motor for your project, doing anything crazy, we wanna go through and go ahead and replace all the mechanical stuff that's, fairly inexpensive, that's a tune-up that that's mechanically sound. And then also, if you have an older Mercedes, these are the old style fuses. So this lets me know that nobody upgraded to the glass tubes. The new ones are glass tubes. They're much more dependable. These ones actually have voltage regularities. They pop much easier. I'd rather just get the glass tubes, upgrade all three of those. I think I bought the kit online for 20 bucks for all the fuses in the whole car. So we're gonna go ahead and replace all that. And then we're gonna get these old crappy headlights out. This is the only thing I actually bought ahead of time was the headlights, because I knew these ones absolutely sucked. So we wanted to get rid of these ones. Gonna pressure test the coolant system, see if we need any reservoir. More than likely it's probably gonna need one because it just looks old and crusty. Let's check the cap. The cap actually doesn't look too bad. Maybe he did put some bucks into it already. We got the negative post just chilling here. So we're gonna go through and test everything, and like I said, see what's good, what's bad. So we just topped off the fluid there. We can already see we got some air bubbles popping out. Let's go ahead and close this up. We're gonna go inside the car. We're gonna start it up, and hopefully it fires up and bleeds some of the bubbles out here. All right, let's go ahead and fire it up and see what happens. A little bit of an idle irregularity. That's because we're gonna do some system to it. So we're gonna go ahead and pull on it. It's still a little tough. All right, there we go. All right. So what we're gonna do now is go end to end quite a few times just to work the air outside of the hose and power steering rack. Getting much, much easier now. So we're gonna do this a few times, and then what we're gonna do is after we do this, we're gonna let it run to see if maybe the guy just let the fluid leak out and never replaced it, or if there's an actual leak. So we're gonna let it run to temp and let it sit here. If we don't notice any leaks, then we'll go ahead and take it on for a drive to make sure that we've worked out the bubbles, whatever else that's actually in, or any air inside the power steering. So while this is running, I'm gonna go ahead and double check the coolant lines just to get pressure on them to see what's going on. Okay, the noise may be a little loud, so I'll talk a little bit louder, but now that we got the power steering going, it's not making as much noise. What I'm gonna check now is like the hoses to see if we actually have coolant passing through. If it's actually going to the overflow bottle, we're gonna check the rest of this. And the reason why I'm doing this is I wanna build pressure and see where the leaks are at. Because if we're gonna take off the thermostat and the water pump, we're probably just gonna replace all the lines with it. But in the meantime, I just wanna get it good enough where we can actually drive it without having it blow up or anything on a test drive. So we're gonna go ahead and let this thing, like I said, idle up to temperature. We're gonna check for leaks for the power steering rack. So far, so good. So we're gonna go ahead and let this thing, like I said, idle up to temperature, and I'll get back to you guys here in a second. Okay, we just turned it off. It's been idling erratic. So we pulled off the intake tube here. Let's put that there. We took off the bolts. There's 4 bolts on the intake. So this is a good representation of why you always need to check out a car, even if it runs. I don't know if you guys noticed, but one thing is missing, the air filter. So we're gonna put this part down here real quick. So if we look inside here, it's not even actually on the intake. It's just sitting over here. So we're missing an air filter, and it's not even actually on there. So let's go ahead and pull this out. We're gonna take a peek here. So here's the post that's missing a bolt where we're gonna actually bolt the intake back on, but I'm gonna go ahead and take a look while we have it off to see if anything else is bad or has issues. I don't see really too much. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna put the intake back on and start getting it ready. So it's day 2 of Workshop Wednesdays. We're still waiting on parts for the Mustang. They said we were supposed to get the rest of the panels like 2 days ago. We still haven't gotten it. I've gotten a few things, but so we won't be able to actually start the fastback. So we're gonna go ahead and finish up with the 190. But as you can tell, unfortunately, it's just sitting there until we get the shells. We don't want to start chopping it up, but let's go ahead and get back to the 190 here. So we had to replace the fuel pump. We did spark plugs, oil change. Actually, I had an air filter. We got some bolts and nuts, bled the brake system, figured out the overheating problem, replaced the thermostat, water pump. Also, we replaced the fan clutch. So now it actually runs great. We let it idle for a long time. We're actually going to take it on its maiden voyage here in a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the other fun stuff we're going to do. Like I said, we are going to put that wide body kit on here that you see that actually comes factory in the European EVO. We're going to go ahead and replace all 4 regulators because they're bad. If you can see this right here, this is starting to fall apart. I already ordered new ones of that. I'm still waiting on the customer to get me the grill. These fog lights and headlights are absolutely garbage. We actually got the new European ones. I'll show you those once we get to the back there. Once again, this bumper is gonna go away. It's not leaking. The stuff you see underneath it's from another car, but we've had it sitting overnight in a certain spot and it's not dripping any type of oil. It's good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you some of the goodies that we've gotten since yesterday. So here is the European headlights. So the reason why I like these is, one, they're so much cleaner. They're all glass. They're not cheap plastic like the ones we got here in America for some reason. So there we go. You guys can see the difference. You got cheap, crusty plastic with a glass inlay and plastic around it, or we actually have the 100% all glass. Looks much, much cleaner. I also got the clear turn signals, which they're coming, and all these lights are going to be LED lights. We're not going to use any type of old school halogens. We did find out about the suspension. They actually cut the springs. They did it completely wrong. So now we have to get in there, but if you could see, like, there's chunks missing out of the tire. This thing's rubbing like crazy. I haven't really taken it for a spin yet, but we're gonna go ahead and drive it around and see how it does. But even turning inside the shop here, we caught the tire quite a few times on the fender. Like I said, still waiting for the customer to bring us the damn grill. But all in all, it's looking good. I'm super excited. I can't wait to take it out for its first voyage. All right, we're getting ready to go on our first maiden voyage. Fire up. I cannot tell you guys how quiet this thing is when it's idling. Even when I rev it, it's like you can't even hear it. Obviously, you can see right here, our tach doesn't move as we rev the car. So I think our gauge cluster's bad. We're gonna have to get a new one. We'll go ahead and put it in first gear. So I'm gonna try to do my best to film because unfortunately, this car is stick and I got one hand holding the camera. So I'm gonna have to turn and shift at the same time. So we'll have to see how it all goes. But it runs great. Woo. Let's go ahead and take a turn here. All right. We're driving, going around some obstacles here. Redlining it out. At least I hope I'm redlining it. Yeah, this thing runs great. Okay, before I go to the shop, we'll do one pull. Woo! Power. So now that we got the mechanical stuff out of the way and we're going to work on the suspension, we can start moving forward in our diagnostics and actually looking at the interior. Now, if you look, the interior is actually pretty clean for this car for 1991. There's no rips or tears on the seats at all. Door panels are in great shape, but I'm not a big fan of the beige. So we're thinking about getting the beige tan interior out of here and maybe doing a black leather with suede interior or Alcantara. But also, we're thinking of maybe even doing something crazy. I was going to do this for our last Mustang build. We were going to do Chrysler's, it's like a concrete gray with a red interior. It's a very cool color combo. I'm not really sure if we want to do it in here, but I kind of looked at, you know, the color scheme and how it looked, and I think it'd make this car really stand out because the 190 EVO came in 2 colors, black and silver. Majority were in black, and there was only a handful that were made an actual silver. So I do like the Mercedes Brilliant Silver. To me, that's like a timeless color. And if you do that, you got to have a black interior or maybe a black with a red interior. I think that would look very sharp, but we're still open to that. But like I said, now that we actually got the major mechanical stuff out of the way, now we can start moving forward to the other stuff. So I'm going to actually install the headlights right now and work on some other things. And while we're getting ready and waiting for some other stuff to show up for this car, I'm going to walk you through the other Mustang and talk about some of the other projects we got going on. So we still have a lot of stuff we're working on. We got the Rolls Royce, our baller Rolls Royce for 2,000 bucks. We got a video coming out about that one. We're going to start working on that one, getting it running and driving. We still have the Volkswagen extra wide body CC. This thing is awesome, but we spent probably about 2 days working on it nonstop. We can't figure out the electrical problem. So we're going to go through and just go one system at a time and see if we can figure that out. But I did buy some stuff for the Audi TT. If you guys don't remember, I made a video a while back. Once we sell the smart car, we're going to be replacing it with this. This is going to be our off-road, all-wheel drive TT. So we're going to match this to the same as my Audi R8. So we're going to have a street vehicle, and then we're also going to have an off-road vehicle. And this one I'm actually going to keep for myself, just like the 190e. But the rest of these projects, they're up for sale. So once we finish them, we're either going to put them on like Cars and Bid, or we're just going to, maybe we'll give a giveaway. We'll give away a car or something fun like that, depending if I can actually get some sponsors. So if I could definitely get some automotive sponsors, it'd be a huge benefit, because then I'd love to do more giveaways. Because right now we got a lot of sponsorship deals, but it's not the stuff I want to bring to this channel. So we're waiting for some good automotive ones. So Harbor Freight, O'Reilly's, Ford, Chevy, Honda, Toyota, whatever. If you guys want to sponsor a video so I can fix up one of these crazy cars and give it away. And we don't want to do like the typical like douchebag YouTuber, like, oh, we're giving away a McLaren and $5,000. We want to build something that's hilarious, that'll make people laugh, that people can enjoy. Because I'm telling you, when you see this baller on a budget Rolls Royce, once you see what we have planned for it, you guys are definitely going to love it. But like I said, this 190e, you know, it's a fun project. Our whole goal is to be $6,000 into the whole thing. That's buying the car, body kit, suspension, wheels, everything. Now, the reason why we're doing a lot of these funner builds and I want to do some more stuff like this is because I love the Mustang builds, but those are going to be, you know, $40,000, $50,000. That's not something relatable. And one thing that I've noticed, a lot of these YouTubers have become so unrelatable because all they talk about is buying Lambos, fixing Ferraris. I bought a Bugatti, you know, I bought a Rolls Royce Wraith and I'm dropping $30,000 in the interior. All that stuff is great, but it's not relatable. People can't do that. So if I can show you how to take a busted up $800 shell and make it into a fastback Mustang, something that is absolutely beautiful that's on the road, hopefully it inspires people to do the exact same. The same thing with the 190e. These things used to go for $500, $600. You can buy them. I promise you, when you guys see this thing when it's done, I guarantee 190s will start picking back up again. More and more people have been sleeping on them. It is the most classic, beautiful style of Mercedes that was ever made, in my opinion. But like I said, I absolutely love this thing. I can't wait for it to be done. But it's stuff like this that makes the automotive journey fun. Because like I said, it's all about, you know, having relationships with people, talking about cars. Because, you know, like I love my R8, but like when I go to the car shows, like in this or in the smart car or in one of my other crazy weird cars that we've ever built, it brings a lot of attention and it gets a lot of conversation. When you show up with the R8, they just think I'm like some rich douchebag that doesn't have any concept of actually working, that maybe my family gave me money. So this is to show people that, yes, I like all cars, I appreciate all cars, I love the build. Even if it's wacky, like I'm telling you, that TT is gonna be absolutely hilarious when it's done. So I'm gonna try to make a quick video because they're grinding over there and we don't wanna stop the project. We got turbo out here, we're still building our set. This is gonna be for our new monitor and camera stand. So now when I'm working, I can film myself on here as I'm actually working on the cars. It'll be pretty neat. I can adjust my angle. The monitor will be placed here so I can actually see myself while I'm doing this until I find a camera guy. So if you are an automotive person and you love cars and you love film and you know how to work a camera, please message me. I need somebody ASAP, as well as a video editor. I wanted to make Workshop Wednesdays more of an interactive feel, but it really sucks because I only have two hands and I gotta use one to work on the cars, the other one's to hold the camera, and it just makes it much more complicated. So unfortunately, until we get a camera guy, this is my camera guy, my amazing stand here. But once again, we are looking for people that are in the Las Vegas area, or if you wanna move to Vegas, that has really good knowledge of either Adobe Premiere or Final Cut. If you don't have amazing equipment, I have really nice cameras. You can use ours, but we just need somebody that's talented enough to grow and move with us. Sorry about that. They just gave me a heads up that they're gonna start grinding and everything, so I'm gonna get out of the shop. We're gonna go head out in the smart car, do our final voyage, because it is going up for cars and bids.